Hold on just 1 second. Oh, okay, phew. For a second I thought I suddenly got the feeling that I forgot to start recording and I had been talking all this time and not recording. But I am recording because you're watching this. Hello everyone and welcome back to Mariana Mas Books. My name is Mariana and today I'm here with a quick recent reads, currently reading plans video. Just to check in because I haven't done a book video in a while. I've been doing a lot of tarot videos and I plan on doing more of both. But I wanted to just do a quick book check-in because I have actually been reading over the past few months and I've actually been really enjoying what I'm reading. So it's 8 p.m. 8:15 p.m. Which means that soon I have a feeding tube meal thing that I have to go do. So I'm going to challenge myself to actually film a 15-minute video just to do a quick book check-in. November is coming up and of course that means nonfiction November is coming up and I'm actually very much in the mood for nonfiction, so I will probably be doing some nonfiction November videos. I am excited about that. Another change that I've noticed is that my birthday and Christmas are coming, and if you saw my mid-year book freakout tag video recently, okay, so clearly this is like a rambly catch-up, bookish catch-up video, okay, so this is what it's going to be. And so if you saw my mid-year book freakout tag, then you know that I hadn't been buying books this year, or I haven't been buying a lot of books this year. I bought a ton of books at the end of last year for my birthday and the holidays and such. And I actually filmed a book haul at the beginning of the year where I showed you all of the books that I got, which were a ton. And so this year I hadn't been buying books because I have been buying a lot of decks, like tarot and oracle decks, and I haven't been buying books, or I haven't been buying physical books. The other day I wrote in Twitter, I was like, I always think that I haven't been buying books because I haven't bought any paper books, but like my Kindle is like, yeah, I beg to differ because I have been buying Kindle books, ebooks, for things I've been reading. There were some pre-orders that I had that have been showing up through the year. So I have been buying ebooks, but I hadn't been buying any physical books. I had been buying decks. And I was telling my mom that I was looking at my wish list as one does once in a while when one engages in retail therapy, and my birthday and the holidays are coming up, and I recently ordered a couple of decks that I am going to be receiving a Christmas tarot, and I promise this is a bookish video and not a tarot video, but the bookish stuff I'm laying down the context. So I recently ordered a Christmas tarot and I'm not going to gush here in a bookish video, but a gorgeous Marseille tarot deck that I'm probably going to make a video about that for like specifically for tarot too. But so I bought those two recently, and I have one or two more, I'm undecided, but one or two more that I want to purchase for like end of year purchases, because, and again, I swear I'm coming to the books, because end of the year and for the holidays, some of my family members who live in the US are coming to visit for Christmas, and so whenever I have people from the US coming to Mexico, I am of course like, okay, what can I buy? What can I buy to send them to save on shipping? Books that maybe here are not available, or maybe independent books that, you know, the sellers or the authors don't ship to outside the US, that type of thing. But also decks, because decks are much more expensive than books, and especially independent decks, and the ones that I want are more expensive, and they with shipping would be super expensive. So all that to say, because I have family members coming over the holidays, I'm like, okay, I'm going to take advantage of that and order a couple like final deck purchases, because I've been feeling like my deck collection is pretty complete at the moment. Of course, I have more decks that I want to buy, because decks are like books. Like, if you are a bookish people watching this video, it's the same. Like, you always want to buy more books, you always want to buy more decks, but most of the ones I want to buy are like new releases coming next year. So for this year, I don't have anything else other than the one or maybe two I'm going to order for my family members to bring me. Which brings me to the books, because I don't have any more decks that I have my eye on at the moment, other than the one or maybe two that I told you about. Then I was looking at my wish list, as one does, because my birthday is in a couple months, in December, and then Christmas and all that. And so of course I'm starting to look for like, oh, like, what am I going to ask for my birthday, you know, that type of thing. And everything that I've thought about are books. And here is where I was coming, like, this is why I was laying down the context, because that was all to say that at the moment I don't have any more decks that I want to order, and I would probably be buying books for the end of the year. And I have a ton of reading plans, and not card reading but book reading plans for the upcoming months and weeks. Like, my mind is just going all over the place with reading plans. So that's why I wanted to film a video, because I want to quickly catch you up on what I'm reading and what I'm planning on reading. I think I'm most excited to talk about what I'm planning on reading, but I want to catch you up on what I'm currently reading just real quick. So I'm currently reading the Farseer trilogy, which that's me loving it. If you didn't catch that, that's me loving the series. That, you know how my star rating system goes from like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 5 million stars for like the best books. This series is probably going to be a 5 million star series for me. Like, all of the books have been 5 stars, but as a whole the series is a 5 million star series for me. I'm body reading it with Elle at Elle Thinks, and we are having so much fun with the body read. We're both really liking the books, and we both really love the characters, so it's super fun to do the check-ins because we just gush about how much we love the characters. So I'm not going to I'm terrible at book talk. I don't think I've ever learned how to sum up a book ever since I started booktube. I always talk about my feelings, and I never say what books are about. But so what I'm going to say is, this is a slow-paced, old-school, character-driven medieval fantasy, which just screams Mariana. It screams like, this is my jam, like my actual jam, this series. Slow-paced fantasy, yes, I love it. Almost any series or book that you see someone or a reader, a fantasy book that you see readers say it's too slow, that usually, like, that always gets my attention, because it's like, oh, slow-paced fantasy, I'm going to like that. Usually when people complain that it's too slow in terms of fantasy, in terms of other book genres is different, but in terms of fantasy, usually it's like, okay, I'm going to like it. Character driven, yes, please, you know I'm a character reader. You know that if I fall in love with the characters, I'm going to love the book. You can do literally anything with the plot, and I'm going to love your book if you make me fall in love with the characters. What else? Like, I have discovered that in terms of fantasy, I love old school fantasy. I have read a couple of modern adult fantasy books, and I have realized that while I have loved a few, my jam is old school fantasy. Like, anytime someone says like this is a book, but I must warn you it was written in the 90s, so you know, beware, I'm like, ooh, okay, writing it down. I love old school fantasy. So it's old school, it's character driven, it's slow paced, it's medieval, like old school medieval fantasy. Yes, please give me more. I love it. I am so excited that we have so many books in this series. This is just the first trilogy, and of course, or I don't know, I'm planning on reading all of them. Elle is also planning on reading all of them. We haven't talked about timing or anything for the rest, but we are finishing up the third book right now. So loving that. And moving on, I am listening to the audiobook of Penric's Demon, which is also fantasy. It's fantasy novella, and I saw that one in a Tor.com list recommendation of, and I don't remember the exact name of the article, but I'm going to link it down below. But it was something along the lines of fantasy books that have like gentle characters, or generous characters, or like good characters, something along those lines. It was like, if you want like good, generous, like characters, check out these books. And this Penric Simon was recommended there because the premise is literally begins with Penric helping an old woman on the road, and that's what starts everything. And it's I'm slow. Even if it's a novella, I'm slowly reading it because it's an audiobook, and I only listen to audiobooks while I'm doing other chores, so I go slow with them. But I'm also loving it so much because characters, I'm telling you, I love Pen so much. He's adorable. He's like just good, and it's this one is easier to sum up because it's basically the story of Pen gets possessed by a demon, and he makes friends with the demon because he's friendly and he can't be rude even to the demon that possessed him. So that's the type of character, and I'm loving that one. I'm finally reading the Silmarillion, finally, and you know, very on brand for me, reading Tolkien and loving Tolkien, of course. I'm not even going to go into detail about the Silmarillion because you know I love Tolkien, you know I was going to love it. I finally started it because I'm watching The Rings of Power. I don't want to talk about it. I have thoughts. I don't want to talk about it. If you are watching it and you have thoughts, Cough David Wiley, if you're watching this video, I sort of need to know if you're watching the show and what you think. I need to know. Cough. But I'm not going to go into it. So that's why I'm currently. Oh! I almost forgot. I am reading The Children of Ash and Elm, A History of the Vikings by Neil Price, which so good. Like, honestly, I can feel this is going to be one of my favorite books of the year. Nonfiction book about the Vikings. I finished watching the Vikings show, the original. I watched it with my mom just recently. We finished it like a month ago, and I'm obsessed. Favorite TV show yeah, I think I can say it's now my favorite TV show of all time. And so I'm still mourning that we finished it. So I had the Children of Ice and Elm on my bookshelf, and I was like, yeah, I have to read this now. So I'm reading it and loving it, and maybe, yeah, this is a quick catch up, but probably when I finish the book, I will do like a wrap up video where I will go more in depth about my thoughts on that video, I mean on that book. But loving it, excellent, 5 stars. Potential has the potential to be 5 million stars, honestly, which is harder for a non-fiction to do, because usually I give 5 million stars when there's a fictional character I fall in love with. But yeah, so that's what I'm currently reading. As for reading plans, as I said, I'm very much in a non-fiction mood. So I want to finish the Children of Ash and Elm and the other books I talked about that I'm reading. And because it's October, or I mean, I'm not like a huge Halloween person, but I do get caught up on the emotion of the moment and the holidays and fall and everything. And so I want to read my illustrated Oxford History on Witchcraft and Magic by Owen Davies. I also want to read Dragons, Serpents, and Slayers of the Early Classical and Christian World, something like that, by Daniel Ogden. I'm all the books I'm talking about, I always write them in the description box. So I want to read those two. There is a book, you're going to laugh. You're not going to laugh. You're going to be like, of course. So there's this book called Anything You Can Imagine, Peter Jackson and the Making of the Middle Earth. And I don't even have to explain myself. Of course, I want to read this. What other non-fiction books okay. Well, there are many tarot non-fiction books that I want to read also, that I really want to read. And there are a couple, I'm just going to read you the name because the names are hard. And I literally just discovered them today through a very cool tarot company that revives historical decks, like from the 1700s, like from the medieval historical decks. My medieval bookish people, you would love this company if you were into tarot. But they had a lecture with a author called Enríquez, cool name, and he has several books. And so he has one called Ex Itent Encounters Around Tarot, volumes 1 and 2. I really want to read both of them. Then he has one called Linguistik Uistickling, which is it's a non-fiction book about the poetry of tarot, and tarot and poetry, tarot and language. It's weird. The description, I couldn't say what it's about, but can we agree that sounds pretty much like a book I would want to read? And finally, also by him, he has an essay collection called Magical Bullshit. That sounds incredible. But that one is so expensive, which is what started my urge to start looking through my wish list to see what books I would like to ask for family members and stuff for Christmas. And it's an essay collection, and it sounds right up my alley, which anyway, essay collections are, because I love essay collections. I was planning on doing Shorty September at we are in October, so clearly I didn't do it. But I'm telling you this because the essay collection American Fictionary by Dubravka Ugrešić was in my Shorty September TBR that never saw the light of day. Mm, but yeah, so that one, that's just like a random. So that's my currently reading. Those are my reading plans. I will most likely make a nonfiction November video. I already saw that Olive at Book Olive, she has already scheduled the release of the nonfiction November announcement. I'm so excited. I'm looking forward to. I'm so excited. That's my favorite announcement of every year. Like, you know how people get excited for Victober and stuff. I also love all of those readathons, but my personal favorite, the one that I'm like genuinely super excited when I see announcement video go up, is nonfiction November. So probably I will do a nonfiction November video, and like I'm so happy that I'm in the mood for nonfiction because I for instance Victober, usually I like to participate, but I'm not in the mood for Victorian at the moment. And Shorty September, I wasn't in the mood for shorties at the moment, and because I had been in a big reading slump, I haven't wanted to force myself to read anything, and I think that's why I'm finally reading and really enjoying everything I'm reading, because I'm just reading whatever the hell I want, and so I want to keep that going. I want to read what I want to read, not like force my TBR into the book to readathons, which I love to do. I have fun doing that, but at the moment I don't want to do that because I had a hard time reading and I am enjoying myself right now. So I'm glad that I'm in the mood for nonfiction, because that means that I don't have to force myself, or I won't force myself, but I would be sad to miss nonfiction November. So I'm excited that I'm in the mood for it, and I can't wait to see what the prompts will be this year. So with that, I am going to wrap this video up because it's already 8:40. Yes, and I said I was going to end the video at 8:30. So wrapping the video up, thank you for watching. I hope you're having a good week. I will see you soon with another video, and in the meantime I wish you happy reading.